Hey there, this is Ryan with Prolific Prints. Just wanted to show you a quick video of how to recreate a simple logo in vector format. So first of all, you need to be working in Adobe Illustrator. I believe if you don't have Illustrator, you can download Adobe Illustrator CS2 for free. Otherwise, you can have the Adobe Suite, which is what we have, and Adobe CC is always up to date with all the latest features and all that fun stuff. So in this billboard that we're designing, we have a low-res logo file in here. As I zoom in, you can see that it's a rasterized pixelated image, and when this is blown up really big, it's going to be really pixelated. So we want to get this into a vector format. So the way to do this is typically I will create a new layer. We'll just call that one logo. And we'll put this one as art. And so I went ahead and, just for the sake of the video length, I've made this gradient to match here already, and I've also typed out the text here, also in the correct font, which is Roboto, I think. So now what I do is I like to have my recreation on its own layer. That way I can lock this bottom one so that we can't click this stuff anymore. And now we can go ahead and start building this with some simple shapes. Let's go ahead and lay our text over first. Sometimes what I like to do is change the text color so that way I can line it up to make sure that it seems to be lining up properly. And on this particular one, it looks like the font's been altered a little bit, so we'll go ahead and match that alteration, increase the height here a little bit, and then we also want to use the shear. I didn't want to do that. Transform shear, and we'll just shear this just a little bit to match pretty closely the way that they have that. Okay. Same thing with the spacing. I'm going to use my Alt key or right up here in the character edit to adjust the kerning of the Alright, that looks pretty good. So let's grab our other text here and do the same thing. And we'll change that to red so we can see the overlay there. Okay, that looks pretty good as is, without doing any adjustments. We'll do these little boxes. Bring this one over here by clicking down the Alt button and dragging it over. And we'll go ahead and change all of those to black now that we have the overlay looks all good. Okay, so we'll click OK. I'm going to click Command 2 to lock this. Now that is no longer selected. You also could put it on its own layer and lock it as well. So now what we're going to do is, the first thing we'll do is we'll go ahead and do these little swoops down here, and then we're going to create a clipping mask to put the gradient in there. The reason for that is that I can just sort of line up this where I want it, and then I can go ahead and clip it. So it's just a little bit easier. So we're going to take our pen tool and just start making these curves. If you happen to have a tool from who's it from? Can't remember what those are called. Can't remember who makes those. Let's take a look. Ink Scribe. Astute Graphics. Okay. Then you can have. They have a few other plugins that you can use to kind of save time. One of the ones that I like to use is let's see, it's this path scribe tool. And with that, we can actually go ahead and just put our points where we need them, like this, right at the edges. And then we can use our path scribe tool to sort of set those curves up. It's just a little bit easier than using the native tool in Illustrator. Let's make this a different color, and I'm going to switch it to an outline only. And I'm going to decrease the stroke so that I can see it just a little bit better on there. And let's go ahead and adjust these now. Like that. That one looks pretty good. It's not lining up perfectly. I could add a point or two in here to get it right. So like add a point there. And then we can adjust these just a little bit. Let's do this little side over here. I usually work from clockwise when I do these adjustments, just so that I sort of keep track of where I'm at. And, okay, that looks pretty good. All right, let's go ahead and make this other one down here. This one I'll show you without using path scribe. You can let's delete that and start over. Then you can use the pen tool and you can make the adjustments like that. Okay. Go to the white cursor and then grab this handle. Just adjust that a little bit. These aren't lining up perfectly, so you could click P for the pen tool and add a point in here, and then just tweak these handles just a little bit more so that they're perfectly where you want them. Same for up here. We can go ahead and add a point and just tweak these a little bit. That one looks pretty good. And then we need to get this curved here, so I'm going to add a point in the center, and then I'm going to change this to curve, and then I'm going to drag it right over here using the white cursor tool. Alright, so now we got our swooshes, if you will. I'll just adjust this one just a tad. Actually, my point's in the wrong spot, isn't it? Alright, that looks pretty good. Alright, so now let's go ahead and make our houses. A couple ways you could do this, but I'm going to build the blue shapes. You could do like a big blue box and then start eliminating areas also, but let's go ahead and just do it this way. So start adding these shapes. Alright, so we'll start putting these shapes on here like this. And let's get our roofs going here. And for these, you'll need to just kind of play with getting them lined up. Also, another tool that you can use from the same suite is this, I'm not sure what it's called, it's like a line tangent or something like that, but we can actually put little anchors on here and are able to pick the axis that we're pivoting on, so that's kind of a little handy deal. So we'll go ahead and make those the right size. We're going to Alt, drag, and click. And I'm going to hold down Shift also to keep it in a line. And now we have that. And then I'm going to duplicate, or I'm going to flip this image. And the way to do that would be transform, reflect, and then it'll reflect vertically. Also, I have it set as a custom key for F12, so I can actually just click F12 and it'll align there, or transpose that. So we're just going through here and making these shapes. Now on this one here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the pen tool to add a point in the middle, or somewhere in there, and then I'm going to select all 3 points. I'm going to do a line to selection, and then I'm going to horizontal distribute, and that's going to put that point right perfect in the center for me. So now I'm going to move these points down to where they need to be, and then this one down here to where it needs to be. Also, another way to do this would have been to basically duplicate this and crop and use the Pathfinder to basically crop this blue where we need it to go. But either way, it doesn't matter. There's several ways to sort of do these. So, all right, so let's do the same thing. I'm actually going to, I know that this point is already set up in the center, so I'm going to swap out these shapes like this, and then I'll get my points set where they need to be in just a little bit. That one's actually, okay, so here's another kind of trick we can do too. Because this is actually the same design duplicated, we can actually just do half the design. So I can do these two and then duplicate those over here. So I'll go ahead and adjust the position of these points, and then let's grab this roof here and bring that down here. Get that overlaid properly. Alright. So that's looking pretty good. So now what we'll do is we will grab just these objects here, and we're going to Alt drag and Shift to keep them straight. And then I'm going to use my F12 to reverse that, which again is actually the transform and then reflect. And then I'm going to, adjust my points. This one goes a little lower than I have it there. Same with this one. Should go all the way down like that. Probably should have finished that other side, because I have these white lines that I'm going to need to do. But that's okay. We'll get it figured out some way, somehow. All right, so now I'm going to pick my blues out of here that I want to use, and I'll pick another blue out. I'll actually just match it with this one at the top, because I know that's a nice blue. Let's double check this blue and see what we're looking at. Put a little bit more cayenne in there, a little less magenta. See how that looks over there. That looks pretty good. Alright, so now we're going to take our blue objects and click the eye button for eyedropper and select those. And then our dark blue objects, we will go ahead and put those there. So now we're starting to see things sort of come together. I'm going to move some things to the top layer that need to be moved, like this roof needs to be in front. So that's going to be arrange, bring to front, or as you can see, I have a hotkey for that for F5. So I can just click F5 there. Alright, so now let's take a look at this in comparison. So what we need to do is get our white lines around these ones here around the roofs. So in order to do that, I'm going to merge my roofs together like this. And then I'm going to add a outline to basically meet right here, which I know will put the proper outline on this side. So we're going to click over here and then click the white, and I'm going to align that stroke to the outside, and I will increase the weight of the stroke. So that looks pretty good right there. Now let's take a look at our design here again. So we're going to need that same stroke around the houses here and the other roofs. One thing you can do is you can actually set a graphic style over here if you wanted to, and that'll automatically basically put the same graphic style. I'm going to make a second graphic style, which is for the houses like that. And so now we can go in here and just put white lines around everything. Let's merge these two. Okay, dark one. Let's take another look, turn off that layer and take a look at what we got. Alright, so it looks like, okay, so these need to be moved to the front. Let's take another look. Alright, so it looks like we just need to add our windows. So let's add a new layer and add our windows here. Again, you could do another color if you wanted to, or just an outline in order to see where those are going. Like that. Alt, Shift. So I'm going to grab both of these, Alt and Shift, over there like that. Now we can grab all four, Alt and Shift, grab those and bring them over here. And that looks pretty good. And there. Okay. So now we'll grab all those and we'll change those to white. And let's turn on our other layer and see how we're looking. Yeah, so we're looking pretty good. Now let's go ahead and finish our swooshes down here. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to click Control C and then Control V for paste and back, and that's going to give me a duplicate of this. I know I need a white, I want this to be in front and have a white back stroke, so I'm just going to add that as a red one for now, and I'm going to lock that layer with Command 2, and then I'm going to grab these ones, and this is going to be where I have my rainbow deal. So now you can see that there. So let's go ahead and drop this over here. I already had lined up the gradient as I wanted it. So now what we need to do is, so if you click and shift click both of these green and then also click the gradient back here and you make a clipping mask, it's not going to work properly. See that? So I'm going to click Command Z to go back. The reason for this is that when you have two objects that aren't actually, basically if the two objects aren't touching, then you need to make a compound path. If they are touching, then they weren't. Then basically you can merge them into one if you want. But if you have more than one path, you need to merge them to a compound path. So now we have a compound path. We can shift and click our gradient, which needs to be behind the clipping mask and the object we're using for clipping mask. So that is in the back, and now we can do make clipping mask, and it's, oh, still didn't do it right. Here, let's see. Let's go back a couple steps there. Let's see. Oh, it is doing it right. I just couldn't tell because it was on because it looked like it was disappearing. But anyways, okay, so now we got that. So I'm going to unlock all layers, and I'm going to grab both my outline and my gradient layers. I'm going to move those to the top with my F5 hotkey. I'm going to select this red line, and I'm going to change that to white. And I need to figure out how big that needs to be. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut that, and I'm going to paste it on this layer. Oops, I need both of those. Come on. Let's go back to where we at. All right, so I need to get both of these. I'm going to Command X. I'm going to go to my layer 3 here, and I want to line up the white line with this top there. So I just need to get this to go to the edge there. So let's increase the weight so we get it where we want it, which is there. Okay, let's change that to white. Command X. We're going to go back to our logo layer. I'll paste this in back of those, and then we'll just bump that back where it needs to be. Okay, turn on layer 3, and so now we have those there. So it looks pretty good. Let's grab our logo out of here so we can sort of compare. So we're going to Command X, get those out of there, and then I'm going to go to layer 3. I'll paste those in front, and let's just move those right there so we can see them. Delete these 2 color boxes I had in there, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to group all of this like that. And so now we can sort of compare the two and then kind of tweak if we need to. I think the text is looks good. The only thing that I'd like to do is this logo has a little bit more of that purple right at the edge of the gradient. So I'm going to click the A button to get to my white cursor, and I'm just going to and then I'll click the G button to get to the gradient. And what I'm going to do is, and you have to have this selected to fill. I'm going to move my purple in here just a little bit more, like that, and maybe a little bit more red too. Just get those to start a little bit. Yeah, so that looks good, I think. Yep. All right, so that's it. So that's how you create a vector, recreate a simple vector logo with shapes. If you zoom in here to 800%, which this is being built at this billboard is at a 1:5 scale, I believe. So everything's going to be 5 times bigger in real life. So to give you an idea, I'll go to 500% magnification. So this is how big this will actually print in real life. And if we scroll over here and see how pixelated that would be, and now we have this really crisp, nice vector version of the logo that we can use. So that's always a good thing. And that's it. So hope that helps, and we'll talk to you soon. All right, thanks, bye.